All right, campers. Today we're going to talk about your Onan 4000 microquiet generator, late 90s to modern time. 5500 generator, whatever, Onan. Let's say it'll crank, but it's just not going to start. So I'm going to give you some simple things you can check, which will save you hundreds of dollars from going to a mechanic, and they work most of the time. Some of the things people don't even know about, but it's good things you can check yourself to avoid the stress of having to go to a dealership or pay hundreds or thousands of dollars. I got a real popular series of different Onan generators and generator fixes and stuff if you want to check my videos for most situations. First thing you can do, well, let's back up. Let's take, and this is something that's very simple, but a lot of people don't know. How much gas do you have in your RV coach? Are you parked on a hill? Did you know that most RVs or generators are set so that you must have at least a fourth of a tank of gas, or you can crank your generator all day and it's not going to start. Now, if you've got a little over a fourth, but you're on a hill, it may not be registering right. Excuse me. I always seem to get a summer cold. All right, go fill your tank up with gas. I'm talking about your engine tank for your RV. Go fill it up with gas, or at least to the halfway point. Then try to start it. If it's below a fourth or at a fourth, it's designed to shut down so that you don't run your coach out of gas and you can't start your coach and leave. Number two, prime your generator. On this particular generator, on your generator somewhere, you're going to have an off start switch. There's also one on the generator. Well, if you hold it in the stop position for about 15 seconds, then you can turn around, start your generator. There's also the switch on the generator that if you hold it in the stop position, that'll prime it. You may have to prime it and then try to start it for 5 or 6 seconds and then stop for a few minutes, or for about 30 seconds, and then prime it again and start it again. You can do that up to 3 times, especially if it's been sitting a long period of time. It may not start the first time, so you may have to do it a second time. If you don't do it by the third time, repeating that course, then there's another issue. A lot of people don't realize that. So make sure you've got more than a fourth of a tank of gas and you're parked not on a hill. Prime your generator and then hit the start. Hold this down for 10 or 15 seconds, then try to start this for about 5 seconds. Wait a minute and do it again, and wait a minute and do it a third time. If you don't start by then, it's not going to start. By the way, here's the prime button. If you're not sure inside, you would just hold this in the stop position. Hear it priming? And then, of course, it would start if I push the start button. Okay. Now, next thing you need to do is just come out here and make sure everything is connected. See these connectors? They're snug. It sounds stupid, but sometimes you can have a wire that worked itself free, or a bolt to come off, a nut. Just a general assessment. Right here, check this. Just make sure all this stuff is good and tight and in and secure. Those can work themselves off. Now, if it still won't run, if you haven't replaced the spark plug in the last 8 years, it's right under here. It is very simple. A socket, an extension, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, take it off. Get the exact replacement. It should be gapped correctly. If you've got a gap tool, you can check it, but usually they are. Put a new one in. It should go in nice and smooth, and you bring it down to snug. You don't over-tighten it. Also, if you want to go to the next level, probably don't know if you can see that. Right off the end of my finger there is the fuel filter. You can take that out from up under here, replace the fuel filter. It hasn't been replaced in the last 8 years. Your starter, by the way, is buried in the back over there. And I still wish you could see that. I don't know if you can see that on camera or not, but it's literally right back there. And then right in front of that is the fuel pump. You can replace that too. It's not very hard to do. You may have to take some of this out, but those three things are what you need to worry about first. You know, if you're going to replace your fuel filter because you've got to that point, I'd go ahead and throw the pump on too, because the fuel filter connects into the back of the pump. You just remove a few bolts and move that stuff out in the front. You might as well replace them both while you're there if you have to get to that point. Then you know you've pretty much covered everything. I would get into the carburetor, but people with little or no experience might find that a little bit difficult, although it's not. And sometimes with a carburetor, it'll at least run, but it'll run real rough if the carburetor's the issue. If you've not replaced the spark plug in, I'd say, the last 8 or 9 years, you know, that could be the issue too. But the big point about this video was a couple of basic things. For example, a lot of people don't know if you get below 1/4 of a tank of gas, your generator won't start. I had a guy in North Carolina spent $765 at the dealership and still left without it fixed. Well, I won't get into the whole detail, but he finally figured out when he filled his car or his RV up with gas and, you know, tried it again out of frustration, it started. And there's a big story to it. It's not that simple, but he figured out that was the problem. And, well, I didn't think about it, but a lot of people may not know that. You know, and priming it, you know, that's important. You know, if it sets for just 1 day, it may only need to be primed once. But if it's been setting for a year, you may want to prime it up to 3 times. You know, 8-9 years, spark plug, fuel filter. I'm not going to say that would fix the problem, but it might, especially the spark plug. If there's no spark, there's going to be no combustion. So anyway, that's just a quick overview of a couple of things you can try that doesn't cost anything. Well, I guess the gas, but you've got to buy the gas anyway. And a couple other things you could do a little bit more advanced. And at least by doing that, if you still don't start it, you can let the dealer know you've done all that, so you don't get charged for all that. Because the fuel pump's under $100. I think the dealers charge you well over that, and then you're going to get $400 or $500 in labor. You know, so you've at least eliminated all the basics. But a lot of times you're going to find either the gas in your engine or the priming it and the spark plug. Them are your 3 culprits. All right, guys and gals, that's all I got for you today. Share and subscribe, and as always, thank you for watching.